I leaned back on the balcony chair, waves crashing below, finally allowing myself to breathe after months of nonstop work. Then my phone rang. My neighbor sounded breathless, asking if I was moving out. Confused, I chuckled, assuming she dialed the wrong number. My house wasn't for sale. My payments were up to date. Everything important was locked safely at home. But when she sent a picture of strangers hauling my sofa into a truck, the laughter died in my throat. Heart pounding, I dialed my mother. She answered casually, as if we were discussing groceries. No apology. No hesitation. Just one sentence. Your sister had debts, and you weren't using the house. My vacation didn't end. I was evicted from my own life. My sister always lived like life owed her luxury: designer handbags, tropical weekends, champagne brunches. Whenever I questioned her spending, my family dismissed me as bitter. I assumed she earned more than she revealed. I was wrong. Her glamorous lifestyle was financed by loans stacked like unstable bricks. The $214,000 she owed wasn't an accident. It was a decade of swiping credit cards she never intended to pay. My mother knew everything but hid it behind excuses and emotional blackmail. She called it helping family, yet I was never part of the discussion. Sacrificing my home wasn't a tragic misunderstanding. It was a premeditated bailout designed in silence. Their loyalty wasn't love. It was dependence wearing a sentimental mask. The moment I returned, I went straight to my filing cabinet. Every folder that mattered was gone. Property deed, insurance forms, mortgage details, all vanished. My stomach tightened as though I'd stepped into a stranger's life. The notary confirmed my worst fear. The sale papers had my forged signature, elegant and convincing enough to fool anyone. The buyer wasn't some random investor. He was a close friend of my mother. The selling price was an insult, half the market value, practically a giveaway. She hadn't just sold a house. She sold stability, peace, and years of sacrifice. Her mantra was always family shares everything, but the translation was brutal. I built. They watched. Then, without hesitation, they harvested what I created. I demanded answers, so I called for a family meeting. My mother sat at the table's head, chin high, like a monarch whose decisions required no approval. My sister cried loudly, portraying herself as a helpless victim rather than a grown woman drowning in debt. My uncles nodded in agreement, eager to maintain family harmony at my expense. No one apologized. Instead, they accused me of selfishness. They twisted my anger into betrayal, insisting sacrifice was my duty. They didn't want conversation. They wanted compliance. That night, I realized something chilling. Some families aren't broken by outsiders. They are broken from within, by entitlement disguised as tradition. I wasn't their relative. I was their resource, and my refusal was treason. I entered the lawyer's office, expecting pity. Instead, I found a man who treated my misery like a solvable equation. He listened, examined the evidence, and leaned back with a calm smile. "This isn't family drama," he said. "It's fraud, identity theft, and illegal property transfer." Every word felt like a light switching on inside my darkness. He outlined the process: forensic signatures, financial audits, ownership verification. For the first time, I felt the power shift. My mother believed blood granted immunity. The law disagreed. There were statutes, penalties, and consequences waiting for her. I walked out not lighter, but stronger. Pain didn't fade, yet it finally had direction. I wasn't helpless anymore. I had a strategy and a weapon. Courtrooms don't care about family roles. They care about evidence. My mother entered wearing pearls, confident tragedy would excuse theft. My sister hid behind crocodile tears, waiting for sympathy to fill the gaps facts couldn't. But facts were relentless. My lawyer revealed forged signatures, undervalued sales, hidden transactions, and messages proving premeditation. Each piece felt like a hammer striking the room. My mother's expression shifted from arrogance to disbelief. The judge listened silently, immune to theatrics. When he voided the sale and ordered charges, the room froze. My mother didn't look ashamed, only stunned that her power had limits. In that moment, truth wasn't emotional. It was structural, documented, undeniable. And finally, it was on my side. Winning the house felt less like victory and more like reclaiming a crime scene. Every wall echoed conversations I never heard, decisions made behind closed doors, and a betrayal I never saw coming. I renovated floors, repainted rooms, and changed locks, not for aesthetics, but for sanity. The house returned, yet the warmth didn't. It was no longer a symbol of achievement. It became a museum of lessons. Trust is not inherited, loyalty is not guaranteed, and DNA is not a moral contract. Friends congratulated me. I smiled politely, knowing they couldn't understand. What I regained was bricks and wood. What I lost was belief in a family that had turned love into leverage. Consequences came quietly, but consistently. My mother's reputation collapsed. People avoided her as if betrayal were contagious. My sister's credit was shattered, her shopping sprees replaced by collection calls. Relatives stopped inviting them to events. Neighbors whispered every time they passed by. They had gambled on my silence, assuming my kindness was submission. They misunderstood who I was. I never needed revenge. I only needed truth, and truth didn't scream. It documented, testified, and settled accounts. I didn't lose a family. I lost an illusion. They lost something far greater: access to me, my time, and my future. Some losses are invisible, but permanent. And no amount of apology can unlock a door once trust has been removed.